Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Elevate. My name is Jessica.
My name is Darwin.
Welcome to episode 64. 65.
You almost got it. So today we're going to talk about something recent that happened in New York City. So are you aware of the influencer Cenat?
I was not until you showed him to me.
Okay. So he is a young kid, I would say, who's a streamer. And
so he's a gamer?
Gamer, streamer. He like goes live streaming and just does random stuff.
What's the difference between a gamer and a streamer?
That streaming, you don't necessarily have to be gaming. You could be streaming your painting or streaming, just being live for other people.
Okay.
So he does live entertainment and reactions and stuff like that. I don't consume him, but I've seen like videos of him of things he's done. Okay. So he like blew up probably within the last few years. He's been doing it for a long time, but this just happened, like he took off. And he posted that he was going to do a meetup in New York City, and he was going to be giving away PS5s to the people that show up. Now, sounds cool, right?
How many?
He just said, and I think he teamed up with another influencer. I don't remember his name, but who's also big in, I think, New York City. Mm-hmm. So, sounds cool, right? Like, we're going to have a meetup, and you're going to give up PS5. The issue is he has a following of like 15 million people plus. 15 million people on top of whatever the other guy has.
What is he live streaming about?
Just reckless stuff.
What?
He's young. He has a very young audience, like teenagers, probably. I mean, he has a broad audience, but his main demographic is like teenagers and young adults.
Okay.
So New York City done went crazy.
Oh my God.
Like so insane.
I saw that a lot of people, I guess maybe he underestimated how much people
it was like 4,000 people, they said, showed up to Union Square for a meetup. Like random. Like he just put up a flyer like, hey, I'm going to New York City. It wasn't even like he was planning it for like months, from my understanding. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but this is my understanding. He just posted it, and then people just started arriving. So I saw a video that when he arrived, they figured out what car he was in, I guess, SUV. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about like hundreds of kids just like surrounded. I think this is when he realized like, I kind of messed up.
Oh my God.
Like on top of his car, and the driver's trying to get away, like reversing through like, I don't know which avenue was that, but it looks like Park Avenue. It was insane. And then that was just the beginning. And then things got really crazy.
What is wrong with people?
Because like teenagers just being reckless. You already know the streets of New York right now is on fire.
Oh, God.
So people felt like they was above the law. They was jumping on top of cars.
Well, why? Is that what he told them to go do?
No, he actually started like doing stories, I think, of telling people to like, go home. Because he realized like, yo, I fucked up.
How does that... I'm like... I saw it, but in my mind, I didn't even know that that happened. I didn't know people were acting recklessly.
Yeah.
I just thought that too many people showed up, and and they were just being fans. You know how sometimes you can have like these crazy fans who just want to throw themselves on you. But I didn't actually know that some of them were.
Yeah, they was like fighting with the cops, breaking cops' cars, jumping on top of thing. They started like looting small like those convenience stores.
Like what? How does that? I don't understand.
I mean, at that point, he wasn't even involved. I don't think he didn't get to do what he wanted to do because it got crazy like instantly.
Well, how does him calling his fans to meet him in Union Square for PS5s equals to let's go crazy and like I don't understand how it got to, hey, let's meet up in Union Square to, hey, let's vandalize.
Let's destroy the. It was a riot. That's what they're saying. So I don't know how it got there, but he got arrested, and they're like the police of the NYPD saying like he's gonna get charged with like initiating like a riot. So like he's like in serious trouble now. I think he got released the same night, but he's gonna have charges because he planned something that. I mean, I'm sure it from his heart. Like he wasn't like, yo, let's shut down New York City. Like New York City was shut down, like. Helicopters and everything.
The power of influencing. This is why I say, how many times have I sat here and said, even if you don't think you have that much influence or power over how people act. You do if you're a public figure. And if you're a big influencer, whether you want to accept it or not, you have a social responsibility. This is the perfect example. Sure, he can't possibly control every move or every thought of those people who follow him.
Yeah.
But he is a person who obviously these fans really follow and love and whatever. They feel connected to him in some way. So powerful so that he just sends a message this same day saying, hey, meet me here. And all these people show up.
Yeah.
Tell me that isn't having power.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important, like what you
promote,
teach. Yeah, what you promote, what you tell your audience. You know, it's not saying like, oh, become a saint, but you got to be more mindful when you have that type of power. Because that's what it is, like influence, power. Like you have the power to bring that many people in the drop of a dime to New York City. And this is what happens.
Absolutely.
And now you didn't want to do that. Like you didn't want that to be the result of that meetup. But
that's what happened.
now you have to deal with those consequences, which now I'm pretty sure he's like, that's then he's never doing that again.
I'm sure he's not.
And I guess it's a good learning lesson for a lot of influencers that are coming up now, because this is like everywhere. Like it was on the news, it was everywhere. So now influencers are probably gonna be like, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, like, you have to be careful. You
know,
there
was a clip where he was like in the middle of the crowd. I guess he was like, he got out the car and was trying to get away. It was impossible. Like he couldn't get away. There was nowhere to go. And then I saw another TikTok. I was like highly invested in this yesterday on TikTok. There was a girl that posted that she put her wallet down and whatever, they stole her wallet and she was like in the front. And the comments was like, oh, you should have just left. And then she posted another video of like her like in the middle. She was like, I was literally just trying to survive. She's like, once you're in here, like you can't get out. Like you just have to try to survive, because it was just like madness. You know, like me being stuck in like a concert of like 10,000 people and like just be in the middle and like, yo, I gotta use the bathroom. Like, nah, you gonna have to pee yourself.
Oh my God.
So it was like that.
Oh no.
And then imagine like, you know, if it's like a civilized, maybe you can like, oh, excuse me, I'm coming through. But no, this was like pushing, people fighting, like.
Yeah, it was that bad energy.
Yeah,
like,
that's what it was.
Oh, that's terrible. But I can't help to think what this kid talks about. I can't help to think why these people follow this influencer. Because why were all these people acting in that way? Because it could be one thing for you to have a little small group who gets together, who are out there to like looking for trouble. But all these people looking for trouble at the same time, I just understand
think that it's not that all of them was looking for trouble. It's just that, like, when you're young, and then like things happen, they just kind of like, oh shit, this is what everybody's doing. Like they just got
like monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, like, oh,
all right,
shit,
we fighting. Okay, we all fighting.
Bottle, like, oh fuck, I'm just gonna throw it too. And then like that times 4,000 people was like chaos.
That is crazy. Yeah, I think you might have a point. That's insane.
Yeah. Or like you're just trying to get out and somebody hits you with a water bottle and you're just like, yo,
okay, it's on. Oh my God. And then that one hits another one, and then some 5 other people jump into the bandwagon.
And then like random ass cars, like people that are probably home with their kids, and dudes just like jumping on top of the hood, the roof, breaking the windshields. And it's like you come downstairs and like your car is destroyed.
Damn.
What? Like,
I would
why?
be mad. Wow.
It's funny because one time when we first started YouTube, that's like when the whole family channels were like trending. And we, at a point, we was kind of like, oh, this would be cool. Like, oh, you know, like blowing up and stuff. But I feel like quickly realized, well, I mean, one, that we didn't blow up. And two, that, like, do we really want that attention? Yeah. I think the Ace family had released like a documentary when they was going through stuff, whatever. And they posted like the behind the scenes of like people showing up at their homes. Like they couldn't walk through their house because people will be looking through their window,
Yeah,
like
they
no
have
privacy. You can't even go to the store no more because you got people chasing you down.
Yeah,
Mr. Beast also says the same thing. He's like, I can't stay in one place for more than 5 minutes. Mind you, Mr. Beast has, I think it's like 100 billion views a day, a month, and like over 150 million subscribers across the world.
I realized that a long time ago. That is not a good way of living. It's so tricky for me because in a certain way I kind of love certain things that have to do with the entertainment world, but at the same time I enjoy having my privacy.
Yeah. And then fame nowadays is crazy.
But I also think that because like back in the day when you were famous,
I seen
you
and,
could kind of shield yourself a little bit because social media wasn't a thing. But now it's like with social media, you have paparazzis everywhere with a cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, and you could only be famous if you was like an artist, a sports, or like a magazine or movies, and still like people had to kind of find you to see where you at. Now it's like, I mean, he has 50 million people he streams on the internet.
Yeah. That scenario, like for instance, with the Ace family and how, you know, their privacy was affected and many other influencers as well who have blown up to that magnitude is when I understand that it's okay. You don't have to share everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to. And, you know, I think that this is how I feel about it. This is how I see it. I think the Ace family started, you know, very humbly. They were do everything they did like for their fans when they would do their giveaways. It was everything out of the gratefulness of their heart. They were grateful to the people who were giving them views, you know, and they were able to make this a living. So I know that they did everything from a good place.
Yeah.
But sadly, they had to learn the rough way that you can't be so nice and open with everyone. Because unfortunately, everyone isn't so loving. Everyone isn't so just how would I say this? So
like have the best interest for you.
Respectful and respectful. Because me, for instance, I could have seen their videos all the time. And even if I was to be living close to where they were, or I was in Cali and I was able to drive to their house, I would have never done that.
Yeah. It's like at that point you're, and not just dumb, just influencers in period. Like at that point.
But then again, you have no control over the age group that's going to watch you. You have no control about around what type of people are watching you.
I mean, you do have control based on what you put out.
Well, what content you put out, maybe
like, I mean,
a little bit.
When we transitioned our page from the Fat Family to like Jessica and Darwin was because we decided like maybe we don't want to show everything, even though we show and not show but say a lot of things.
Yeah,
we was like, oh, let's kind of remove our kids a little bit. Like we'll obviously show them because they're our kids and they're a part of us. But we kind of was like, and maybe
we want to target an older audience.
Yeah, like the audience we're trying to reach is like a little bit.
Yeah, but they were the ones, you know, unfortunately, they were the ones who had to go through it along with some other families.
I mean, we got stopped at the mall and we don't even have like people would be like, oh my God, hi, Armani.
Yeah.
Like, and our audience was not big at all.
But that doesn't happen to us often.
No. But that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine when you were at that level. It's like you can't walk around.
Yeah. It's a little uncomfortable. And I don't mind interacting with people. Like if you see me, like there was a time where somebody wrote to me, oh, I saw you at the mall, but I didn't have the courage to like say hi. I was like, you could have said hi. I wouldn't have minded. I just feel like there's certain people who just cross the line and they don't know how to be respectful or when to give you your space. Like if I'm walking around somewhere, you see me, you could say hi to me. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, she said hi to me, like she came into my personal space, because I know that somewhat, you know, I do put some of my things out there on the internet. So it's expected for some of you to maybe see me outside and recognize my face. Like, and I would love to meet you guys if you guys are around.
But it's also like a little strange because you don't know who notices you.
Yeah.
And like somebody could just be like watching you. Like, oh, I know who it is. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. That's why, like privacy to me is important. It's more important than money, honestly. For sure. I don't think money can compromise my privacy because then safety even gets into it, and safety is also very important. Yeah. So,
and it's just so hard because it's like you don't even. Some people just fall upon like being an influencer. Like you could just be posting random thing, not even thinking like, hey, I want to be a freaking star. Not a star, like a huge influencer. And like 2 videos go crazy and you're like up there now. And just like, yo, because it happens so fast. It's like, how do I manage this? Like, how do you manage like how do you manage going crazy viral and having the opportunity to, let's say, come across a lot of money at the same time because something happened that went viral, and then also dealing with mad new fans, like somebody who just like lived in the suburbs, not even suburbs, somebody who lived that didn't have a lot of money and was an outsider and didn't have a lot of fame or popularity in school, and now you're just like the most popular, got mad money, brands are chasing you, you're all over the internet.
Yeah, that's not an easy thing to deal with. Especially if you're a person who...
And then you're just like, how do I keep up? Like, how do I do what I just did without going down the right, bad direction path? And that's why I think people start doing, like, dumb stuff, like experimenting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so be careful what you wish for.
For real.
Be careful what you wish for because what you think you might want might not be what you want.
Yeah, that's why we say, like, we don't really want fame. We want wealth.
Yeah, I definitely don't want fame.
Yeah.
I would love to have like a tight-knit community. I would like my numbers to be somewhat controllable.
Yeah.
Like.
But that's the problem, is that you can't really control it. Because the more content you put out, the more people you're going to reach. And they're going to be like, oh, I really like her. Or I really like them.
Yeah, but I feel like there's certain influencers or people who have influence or businesses who they're considered smaller influencers,
like micro influencers.
Yeah, who have a nice community. They do their brand deals. If they have to do their brand deals, they have their businesses, and they're not necessarily famous. Yeah. There's some people who you guys might not know who are making that money and you don't even know them. They have their own, tight-knit community. Mm-hmm. They have their businesses. Maybe they have more than one business. And they're just, like having multiple streams of income. They love to talk to the camera, so they might have a podcast and they might not have a huge platform or a huge audience, but they're making their money.
She's not talking about us either.
And but that's who I who I aspire to be. Like I want to be that person who, like we can have some meaningful conversations, and if we can influence, some people on a certain level, maybe those people will influence other people, not by necessarily watching our videos, but because our message came across to that person and that person will share it with other people. That is enough for me. Like
I think it was like on Think Media or one of them that said, like you only need 1,000 loyal people to be successful.
Who knows? I leave it all in God's hands.
For sure.
He knows the type of lifestyle I want to live. He knows how much I can take on. I guess I'll leave it in his hands. And I'll keep doing what I'm doing and just hope that it doesn't hit the fan the wrong way.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a quick one today. We would just want to keep you up to date what's happening on Influencer World. Yeah. So if you are an influencer, or I feel like everybody's an influencer of something, just be mindful of what you promote. If you are going to do things like that, I guess try to tell your people like, hey, act civilized.
Or maybe don't do that at all if you have a huge audience. I mean, if you have a huge audience, you're probably not watching our video right now. But
at that point, it's like you got to be super strategic. I mean, at that point, it could have been really bad because it's like he's one person and maybe a security guard. Like, how do you control 4,000 people that really want to see you? Like,
you can't.
They can crush you just by like trying to get to you. So it's like you just got to be more strategic for yourself, and don't put yourself in scenarios like that.
Yeah, don't put yourself in situations that could come out to be very ugly.
Because it's uncontrollable.
Yes. And again, I mean, everybody is responsible for how much or how little they want to share. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we just need to be a little bit smarter about not having to share everything. Yeah. I'm very big on like, I don't need to share my location everywhere I go. I remember this time where everybody used to tag the location on their Instagram.
Yeah.
And I always used to feel like that is such a problem, like for security purposes. I would never feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, we
like
usually do it like after we, like right when we're leaving, or like after.
If I'm going to post my location, I'm doing it after I leave, because not that I'm J-Lo, you know, but I still feel like you just never know. The internet is open to everyone. You just never know who's watching. I'm not going to share my location with people. I'm not going to tell you exactly when I'm going on vacation and when I'm coming back. I'm not telling you details like that on the internet. It's just not a smart thing to do, in my opinion.
I guess I shouldn't post when I'm arriving to Lowe's. Come chat. We can build a house together. We can hang out in Lowe's. Help me carry some sheetrock. But yeah.
Anyways, that was it for today's podcast, you guys. Today was a short one, a short and sweet one. But please leave us your suggestions down below on some topics that we could talk about on this podcast. Soon we will come again with our guest. You know, we're just letting things cool down a little bit here. And yeah, leave us your suggestions. We want to know what topics you want us to talk about on the Elevate podcast. And that's it for today's podcast, you guys. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Until next time.
Peace.
No, wait a minute. I missed something. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified every time you post a video. And if you're on any of our audio platforms, please leave us your reviews. Until next time.
Peace.